Tonight, our special transmission as a former United States official reveals the rape of a Palestinian boy in an Israeli prison in a media interview. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Zahra Sayed. Today is the 239th day since the onset of Israel's war. After a 20-day operation, Israeli forces have begun withdrawing from the Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza. There has been extensive damage in the area. More than 1,000 homes have been destroyed, and a large number of civilian corpses are lying in the rubble. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society says the undiscovered bodies can lead to disease outbreaks. Israeli forces have targeted several areas across the Gaza Strip today. There have been heavy air raids in Rafah. Israel's incursion in Rafah has been ongoing since early May. The attacks come despite international calls for a ceasefire. United Nations experts are calling for decisive international action against Israel. They're calling for sanctions and an arms embargo. Jens Lark from the United Nations Humanitarian Office says the besieged enclave is grappling with lack of adequate food supplies. Margaret Harris from the World Health Organization says there is a severe decline in dietary diversity amongst children. The Palestine Media Office reports severe shortages of fuel, propane, and medicine since the Rafah crossing has been seized by Israeli forces. More than 98% of Gaza's bakeries have been forced to close. 700 water wells have stopped functioning. The death toll from Israel's war is staggering. At the time of writing, at least 36,224 Palestinians have been killed. A revised report by the United Nations estimates another 10,000 civilians are buried under the rubble. 81,777 have been injured. Israel's death toll from Hamas's attacks stands at 1,139. Israel stands accused of genocide at the International Court of Justice. In its latest ruling, the court has ordered Israel to immediately halt its operations in Rafah. The United States military's pier off of Gaza's port has been rendered inoperable. The news comes after a section broke off due to bad weather. The pier is now being temporarily removed for repairs. Pentagon spokesperson Sabrina Singh says the damaged portion will be towed to Ashdod port in Israel for repairs. The repairs are expected to take over a week. In March, President Biden announced the construction of the pier. Its construction cost $320 million. 1,000 U.S. service members were involved in the construction. The pier started its operations 2 weeks ago. Since then, the United Nations has transported 137 trucks of aid from the pier. Palestinians fear the pier may be used to forcibly displace civilians or exploit Gaza's offshore resources. The Israeli parliament has advanced a bill to designate the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees a terrorist organization. The bill has been proposed by Yulia Melinovsky of the Israel Our Home party. It has passed a preliminary motion with support from 42 Knesset members. 6 members have opposed the bill. The legislation aims to apply the anti-terrorism law to the agency. If enacted, Israel will sever all ties with the agency and shut down its offices. It would strip the agency's employees of diplomatic immunity. Soon after, the Israel Land Authority ordered the agency to vacate its East Jerusalem premises within 30 days. It says the agency owes $7.3 million for unauthorized use of the land. Israel has long sought to discredit the agency by alleging ties to Hamas and other Palestinian resistance groups. Critics argue that dismantling the agency would disregard the refugees' right of return. This right has been a condition of Israel's UN membership since the late 1940s. A contractor for the U.S. aid has resigned. He cites censorship concerns after his Gaza humanitarian crisis presentation was cancelled. The Guardian reports Alexander Smith was scheduled last week to give a presentation at a USAID conference. He was to deliver a brief on maternal and child mortality in Gaza and the West Bank. Smith says U.S. aid halted his presentation due to references to international humanitarian law and agencies with Palestine in their title. Smith's resignation highlights discontent over the Biden administration's stance on Gaza. Recently, officials Stacey Gilbert and Lily Greenberg Call have also resigned from the State Department and the Department of Interior. Major Harrison Mann's resignation from the Defense Intelligence Agency further reflects opposition to U.S. support for Israel's war. These departures signal growing dissent within the United States government over its Middle East policies. A former U.S. State Department official has revealed a disturbing incident of a rape of a minor in an Israeli prison. In an interview with CNN, Josh Paul says a report by the charity Defense of Children International Palestine drew the attention of the State Department. The report alleges the rape of a 13-year-old boy in Moscow Bia prison in Jerusalem. The State Department found the allegations credible and presented them to the Israeli government. Paul says the next day, the Israeli army stormed the charity's offices. It removed all the computers and declared the charity a terrorist organization. Paul resigned last year in October over the Biden administration's decision to continue supplying arms and ammunition to Israel. He is calling on the United States to use its influence to put Israel on the right path. Paul says the United States provides billions of dollars in arms and aid to Israel, but does not use its influence to stop Israel's aggression. Hamtramck in Michigan State has become the first United States city to endorse a boycott of Israel. The resolution has been passed by the City Council. It pledges to refrain from purchasing goods and services from companies targeted by the boycott, divestment, and sanctions campaign. It also discourages investment in Israeli companies supporting apartheid policies. It says the boycott is anti-Semitic in nature and challenges Israeli occupation. Hamtramck's move aligns with prior resolutions advocating for social justice, including diverting funds from military budgets. Other U.S. cities have divested from Israel, but Hamtramck's resolution is distinctive for its comprehensive support of the boycott campaign. Globally, cities like Dublin and Barcelona have endorsed similar actions. Former renowned French footballer Eric Cantona has taken to Instagram to challenge global attitudes towards Israel. The 58-year-old legend is calling Israeli leaders criminals. He questions those who defend those leaders and describes Israeli actions in Gaza as genocidal. He says there is an urgent need for a ceasefire and a two-state solution. Cantona enjoyed a successful football career with Manchester United and Leeds United. He won 5 English Premier League titles and retired from football in 1997. Cantona is known for his advocacy for Palestine. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a not-for-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad. Assalamu alaikum.